So, friends, after the Trump administration admitted that they wrongfully deported a young man to a prison in El Salvador, Trump's DOJ attorneys just told a judge that it's not possible to get him back. Are you effing kidding me? Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, there is a brand new court filing by Donald Trump's consiglieres over at the Department of Justice in the Abrego Garcia case. Let me set this one up. First of all, Mr. Garcia fled El Salvador in 2011, fleeing gang violence. In 2019, an immigration judge ordered that the U.S. may not deport Mr. Garcia back to El Salvador, but the Trump administration did it anyway. Their explanation? Whoops. Administrative error. We were wrong. Now, setting aside whether it actually was an administrative error, the Trump administration admitted it was wrong to deport Garcia to El Salvador. So naturally, the judge ordered that Garcia should be returned to the United States. And Trump's lawyers just filed a brief in the case saying that's impossible. Friends, let's start briefly with the new reporting, and then we're going to have a look at just a little bit of this new court filing in Mr. Garcia's case. Headline in the Washington Post: DOJ says judge can't order return of Salvadoran man wrongly deported. And that article begins: government attorneys slammed the judge's order to return a Salvadoran immigrant to the United States, arguing in a Saturday filing that the judge's directive was indefensible and that the United States has no authority to make a sovereign nation release the man. On Friday, U.S. District Judge Paula Shines directed the administration to arrange the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran immigrant married to a U.S. citizen, by no later than 11:59 p.m. Monday. The Justice Department's response asks the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit to step in and immediately pause Judge Shines's order. Quote, the United States does not have control over Abrego Garcia or the sovereign nation of El Salvador. Nevertheless, the court's injunction commands that defendants, the United States government, accomplish somehow Abrego Garcia's return to the United States in, give or take, one business day. That order is indefensible, Justice Department lawyers wrote. The appeal argues at length that the government has no power to return Abrego Garcia because he's in the custody of the Salvadoran government, though the Trump administration says it is paying El Salvador about $6 million for the detention of deportees. Okay, friends, let's follow the bouncing ball of injustice. First, a court orders that the U.S. government is prohibited from deporting Garcia to El Salvador, but they do it anyway, saying on March 15th, Abrego Garcia was removed to El Salvador. He was sent to that country due to an administrative error. So naturally, because the Trump administration admits they were wrong for deporting Garcia to El Salvador, it was clearly their error. They've admitted that. The judge orders Garcia's return. And here's what the Trump administration says. The judge's order commands the defendants, in other words, requires the Trump administration to do something they have no independent authority to do. Make El Salvador release Abrego Garcia and send him to America. They say they just can't do that because the order is neither possible nor proper. As noted, Abrego Garcia is an El Salvadoran national being held in El Salvador at the hands of the El Salvadoran government. And that, my friends, is some Banana Republic bullshit. And I'm not talking about El Salvador. The Trump administration admits they sent him there wrongly, erroneously, administrative error, unconstitutionally, unlawfully. That's what y'all did. And you're paying the government of El Salvador to keep him there. And now you're claiming that it's impossible. We just don't have the ability to ask the government of El Salvador, excuse me, we done screwed up. We need Mr. Garcia back. I mean, we're still kind of footing the bill for all of these migrants that we are unconstitutionally asking y'all to keep in prison in El Salvador, but we're just going to need Mr. Garcia back. No, they say that would be impossible. Impossible. Does that make any damn common sense, friends? Zero. You know, this is a runaway criminal government, and I'm not talking about El Salvador. So we will now wait to see what happens next in this case. I suspect we're going to see whether Judge Shines grants their motion for basically a pause, an administrative stay, while they, I don't know, figure out what they're going to do, figure out if they're going to appeal it to the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals and try to get them to say, yeah, this makes perfect sense to us. You unlawfully and unconstitutionally grabbed somebody who had a court order protecting him from being deported to El Salvador. You deported him to El Salvador, where he's being held in what has been reported as a horrific, abusive prison where torture is regularly used against the inmates. You're paying to keep him there, but it's impossible. Your word, impossible to bring him back. Are you effing kidding me? You know, friends, this kind of garbage can't survive judicial scrutiny, because if it does, then the rule of law doesn't survive, right? The Constitution doesn't survive. Justice doesn't survive. And to us, justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.